Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me on my first ever video. Today we're going to draw a sunflower as part of the 1st June floral theme. So all you'll need for this is a piece of paper, which you can use anything. I use the 300 GSM paper because I prefer the quality of it. You just need a masking tape to just tape it down, a HB pencil, any biro pen. This is a super cheap one, a rubber, and what we're going to do is start off by drawing a cross in a corner of the piece of paper that we've got. This will make it a lot easier for you to draw circles. Again, the circle doesn't have to be perfect, it's just as a rough outline. What we're doing here is just creating semicircles to join each of the lines of the cross. This will form the inner part of the sunflower. Now what we're doing is just elongating the lines of the cross to create another circle, a bigger one, on the outside of the smaller circle inside. This is going to create an outline of how the petals are going to form around the centre of the flower. Next, we're going to draw a stalk. So just draw a rough sort of 2 parallel lines. Just leave a couple of gaps where I am because that's where we'll be drawing the leaf. So I'm sure you've noticed, but stalks of sunflowers tend to be quite thick, so just make sure you do that when you're drawing the stalks for this sunflower, just to make it a bit more realistic. Now what we're going to do is basically start by creating small circles in the middle of the cross. This is going to form the centre of the flower. They need to be quite tightly packed and they don't need to be neat, but what we're going to try and create is an effect where it looks like the circle's spreading out. Now the line that forms the smaller circle in the middle, we're going to draw smaller circles there as well. And again, it does not need to be perfect, and feel free to draw a couple of circles that are not within the parameter of that circle line as well, just to create an effect where it shows that it's not a static 2D picture. And then we're going to draw a couple of circles in the middle just to smooth out the transition and not make it look so sort of distinct circles of circles. So just carry on doing that. Now we're going to start by drawing the petals. So the idea behind having the bigger circle that we drew at the start is to try and keep our petals within that shape. It just prevents irregularities and also gives you a bit of an idea as to how far you need to draw out the petals. Another technique for drawing petals is try not to complete a petal, if that makes sense. It's always quite useful to just leave a gap and create the next petal, which then joins that gap that you've left for the petal, and this creates the effect of overlapping petals rather than creating distinct petals. I say petals a lot. I'm going to say petals a lot more in this video. When you come to the side as well, it's quite a good idea to create a drooping effect of the petals, just to, again, make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit more realistic. Now you can follow exactly what I'm doing here as well, but you don't have to. You can do your own thing. Nature is not perfect, so please feel free when you are drawing with me. And that's the beauty of art, and it's one of the things that I love about art as well, is that you can be completely free. No art is perfect, and it's very difficult to create perfect art. I'll leave that to the experts, and I am not an expert. So just keep following that circle and keep drawing petals as you go around that circle. Obviously this is my first video, So I really hope you guys like it. If you've got any suggestions and ways that I can improve it, please comment below and let me know, because I want to make these videos more useful and more helpful for you guys. So I'd love to get some constructive feedback from you all. So like I said earlier, you can use any equipment for this. You can literally use printer paper to create this drawing, because we're only using pencil and pen, so you don't need expensive paper. You can use any pencil that's lying around the house or any pen that's lying around the house. Probably best to use a pencil that's not thick, because we'll be rubbing it all out at the end anyway. So as you can see, we've come to the end of the petals. So I think I'm just not overly happy with the right hand side, so I just add a couple of petals in anyway, and you can do that as well. So we're going to move on to using the pen now. So start off with the inside, and you're basically just going over what you've already done. And the beauty of it is that you don't have to make it perfect, and you don't have to go over the lines that you've already created. But you can already see just adding in something as simple as ink already brings the picture alive. So just keep going and just go over what you're already drawing. And you can use this opportunity to add in extra circles if you want, just to make it your own. So now just go over the petals in the ink as well. So I think you can also start to see it a bit clearer, the outline of the petals that I've already drawn. I think it's really important to try and not create identical looking petals. Obviously some of them will be, but in nature they tend to be a little bit different to each other anyway. And I think the more different you make it, the more realistic it will look. My hands are getting tired, as you can tell. So nearly coming to the end of drawing the basic outline of each of the petal. So now what we're going to start off by doing is just adding in a little bit more shading, just to create a little bit of depth. When it comes to shading, it's really important to think about where the light is hitting. So I think it's common sense to think that petals that are below another petal are going to get less light, which means that they will be a little bit darker. So just create a little bit more shading in the petals that are being covered by another one. And that's a really good way of creating depth in your drawings. And you can apply that not just to this, but to any drawings or paintings that you create. I think it's also important to try and follow the lines that you create with the shape of the petal. So rather than creating sort of straight lines of shading, try and create a bend to where you imagine that petal is going. So you can already see that it started to really take shape. And I just decided to add in a couple of extra petals on the right hand side because it just looked a bit lopsided to me, so I wanted to add a bit more. And you can do that as well, or you can leave it as it is. So we're going to now try and finish the rest of the drawing, and by adding in the leaves. So the first leaf that we're going to draw, we're going to try and create an effect where it's behind the petals of the sunflower. Now, if you've seen sunflower leaves, you can see that they have sort of jagged edges, and that's the effect that we want to go with this as well. One of the things that I'm going to teach you how to do in this video as well is to create folding effect of the leaves as well, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. Now this one's going to be our biggest one, and just try and draw a rough heart shape. And even though the leaves that we're drawing right now look very 2D, the beauty of using a pen is, or you can do this with pencil as well, but shading just brings this drawing to another level. And that's another thing that I wanted to add as well. If you don't want to use pen, you don't have to. You can do what we're doing with the pen with a darker pencil. We'll just put pressing down a bit harder on the pencil and just create a pencil drawing of a sunflower. So we're going over what we've just drawn with the pen, and you'll see that all I've done is just create the outline of the leaf itself. And this is because I just didn't want to create, restrict myself when it comes to drawing the veins and the shadowing of the leaf itself. So we'll start off with this leaf, and as you can see, the way we're going to create an effect of folding is by shading in the bit behind the fold in a darker shade, and that will make it look like the leaf is folded in on itself, if that makes sense. One of the things I will try and stop doing is jump from one bit of the drawing to another. It's one of my pet peeves. Is that the right word? No, it's probably not. It's one of the things that I do, and I am trying to stop, especially for these videos. But I get bored very easily, and I end up going to other bits of paintings or drawings. So I will try and stop doing that so that it's a bit easier for you guys to see exactly what I am doing. So obviously I have sped this video up. So if you do want to draw alongside me, just slow it down and we can draw together. But if I did it in real time, we'd be here for 20 minutes as opposed to 15. So it's not much of a difference. Right, anyway, what we're going to do is now draw the veins, and as you can see, there's no method to how I'm drawing this, if I'm completely honest. So the main advice I can give you is, again, the same with drawing the lines in the petals. Try and follow the contour of the leaf that you're drawing and where you imagine that leaf to be going. And if you notice in nature as well, the veins are rarely straight, so try to create curves and bends to create a bit more of a realistic look to the leaf that you are drawing. And you'll also notice in sunflower stalks as well, they're a bit prickled, so just add in some of those as well. And we're done. So all you need to do is just rub off the pencil, and then you can finish this off by painting it, colouring it in. I decided to leave it as it is. So thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you think below, and obviously like and subscribe and all that malarkey to stay up to date with my future videos. Thank you so much.